you're logging in from. I definitely want to, I'll be asking for volunteers throughout the presentation. So if you're feeling a little shy, take that hat off today. Let's chat together just like we're having a cup of coffee. See, Lynn from Orange County, thank you for joining. We're neighbors. I'm in Long Beach, so again, Southern California, but welcome to everybody for wherever you're logging in from today. New Orleans, oh, very good. See, told you, we get a wide range of where people are logging in from. South Africa, okay, Andrew, you win. Wow, thank you. Welcome, and yeah, I'm glad we're all here together. San Diego, oh, SoCal is in the house, absolutely. And we will be starting just 1 minute. We start at the top of the hour, and I want to make this an hour packed with info for you. And like I said, I will be asking for volunteers. So please don't be shy today because that's how you can get the most out of this webinar. Okay, good morning. I am excited about this presentation today. It's a little unusual, but I think it's something we all are facing. I'm calling it Beyond Cold Calls, and I want to show you how I'm using the new tools to connect and engage. It's really modern ways that we can build real connections without feeling salesy. So before we dive in, a little bit about me. I'm Ronnie Ramus. My company is Harmony 3 Productions. And these days I'm called a digital marketing and content strategist. I'm a workshop leader for SCORE. I'm a founder of Harmony 3 Productions. And I help business owners like you learn to feel comfortable to use the new tools. AI is at the top of that list. And it's so that you can build confidence with practical marketing strategies and clear messaging and consistently showing up. And that's what builds visibility and trust. I work with AI for content creation and real world marketing strategy and helping businesses understand how they can use those tools for their own marketing. I consult with clients all the time. The topics that we cover are just what we're going to be talking about today. So you have me today. Chat is open. If you have questions, I really do want to make this a webinar about you who are in this presentation with me. Because in my webinars, I share the same practical tools and the frameworks I use with my clients. So you've got me today. Don't be shy. I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, I'm Ronnie Ramus. And on most other social platforms, I'm under my business name, which is Harmony 3 Productions. If you want my best tips on a semi-regular basis, go ahead and scan the QR code. I like to use my newsletters to kind of explore things that aren't quite ready for a full webinar yet, but let you know things that I'm seeing on the horizon that are exciting and that I'm starting to play with. I also want to mention quickly how important SCORE is for all of us. I think that having a SCORE mentor has just been a game changer for my business. If you do not have a SCORE mentor, if there's my biggest takeaway for you today is it's free. It's free. Sign up for a SCORE mentor to wherever you are on your business journey. It's such an amazing resource. As a reminder, I am going to be asking for volunteers today. So if you are shy, take that hat off. I will ask you to put in chat as we go along. You're going to be seeing how I use AI, but let me know in chat if you're willing to share what type of business you have. You don't have to be specific, but who you're trying to connect with and where do you usually meet or find the people that you're looking for, because we're looking for new ways, non-salesy ways to start to build those connections. You will be getting a copy of the webinar itself, the recording, and the slides. So yes. Okay, so why did I make this webinar? Well, I think cold calls feel really uncomfortable and random DMs get ignored. I don't know about you, but I get a ton of them and I just delete them. I don't even read them. People can sense a sales pitch instantly. So it's really connection these days that matters more than volume. So the old playbook for cold calls and emails, it's just endless dialing. You're interrupting those prospects and there's a lot of rejection. Mass emails are kind of spray and pray tactics that land in spam folders. The open rates are low, response rates are even lower. The endless chasing, following up on leads. If you have a team that's doing follow-up for you, that's a lot of hours that really aren't getting a lot of return on investment. That old playbook approach, it treats lead generation just like a numbers game where you just, grind harder and harder, not smarter. You deserve better, your sales team deserves better, and especially your clients deserve better. So what's changed? Buyers these days, they do research before responding. Trust is built before they contact you. And familiarity beats that interruption, those cold calls or cold DMs. Timing matters more than persistence. So the problem with that cold outreach is that it starts with the interruption. They have not asked for you to DM them or call them up. You're interrupting what they're doing. And it leads with a pitch. That's salesy. It lacks context that's specific to them. And right away, that creates resistance. So the old way is cold calls. You reach out first. You pitch early. You hope for interest. And then you chase those responses. The result is really low responses and high frustration for you. The new way is connection first. And you're going to see at the bottom, social media captures their attention. It's brand awareness. I'm sprinkling this throughout the presentation because brand awareness is first. Show up before outreach. That means get them to see you, to be familiar with you, your brand, your service, your product, before you even outreach. Then you're going to share useful ideas. That creates that familiarity. I can barely say that word. And it invites conversation. The result is warmer responses, easier conversations. So what's going to replace those cold calls? Well, constant visibility, thoughtful touch points, relevance over time, and context before contact. Again, social media captures their attention. It's brand awareness. So here's some examples. Thoughtful touch points. So what do I mean by that? A relevant comment. Maybe you are following industry leaders in your field, right? Or on LinkedIn, or people that you want to connect with, or people that would make a good strategic partner for you. A relevant comment, commenting, say, on their LinkedIn post with a genuine insight or a follow-up question. So you're not just going, oh, nice post. Who cares, right? They're not going to follow you or see your LinkedIn profile if you just go nice post. Relevant comment that you're adding context to the original post. You're adding value instead of great post. What about a helpful share? Sharing an article, an event, or an idea, and you're tagging that person because it relates to something that they care about. How about a simple follow-up? Sending a short message after an event or an interaction that references something specific you discussed. It's a touch point. It's a follow-up. It is not salesy. What about context before contact? That could be maybe you have a shared experience. You met at the same event or webinar or meeting. Maybe you're part of the same organization or group or community. Maybe you have shared interests or challenges. Maybe they posted about a challenge that you solve. Their role or industry or recent change gives you a natural reason to reach out. What about prior visibility? They've seen your posts, their visuals, maybe they've commented before. Your name and face already starting to feel familiar. So when somebody recognizes your name or understands why you're reaching out, the message is no longer cold. It now has context. So the new connection model, visibility, engagement, conversation, and then you're building a relationship. That's the foundation for the new modern outreach, the one that's a lot less salesy. Visibility comes first. Visibility means sharing ideas, and it means showing how you think. It means being recognizable and staying present, not selling, not pitching. Social media captures your attention. It's brand awareness. Yes, you need to be on social, and you need to be consistent on social. That engagement really can build familiarity. That's comments, you commenting on their posts, replying to comments that people make on your posts, right? Reactions that can just be a like on some of their posts, so you're not always saying something. And if you're saying something, make sure that it is valuable and you're not trying to outshine them, right? You are trying to add value or ask a relevant question to their post. The reason is a lot of people read the comments, and if your comments are insightful, there's a very good chance they are going to then go look at your profile. And if you are offering the type of content that is valuable to them, excellent chance they will follow you. So that's that familiarity starting. And acknowledgement. If somebody says something about you, if they tag you, make sure that you acknowledge that. Those small interactions really can create that comfortable feeling that you know this person. Conversation feels natural. So when visibility and engagement exist, so they've seen you, they're commenting, you're commenting back and forth, then if you do message them, it feels easier. The outreach starts to feel welcome. If you're not a stranger, no cold open needed, they know you. Your context already exists. And relationships definitely grow over time. Trust absolutely builds gradually, and repetition reinforces your credibility. And repetition, I don't mean just posting the same thing or saying the same thing over, but they're seeing you repeatedly, maybe even across multiple social channels. For my business, I create my posts for LinkedIn first. I think that's my main audience. But I also post that same content on Facebook and on Instagram because maybe some people see it there and they don't see it on LinkedIn. Those can really be, for me, very interchangeable. Same content, easy to cross post. But what if you had also an audience on TikTok or YouTube, and maybe your post was not a video? You can easily repurpose your posts, same content, but maybe change the format a little bit. Wherever your audience is where you need to be posting, and on all of those channels. Most of the time you can repurpose, and I think that you can always repurpose the idea, the content, but maybe in a different package. People remember how you show up, and sales become a byproduct of all of that getting to know you and to recognize you. All right, so where do these new tools fit? And when I'm talking tools, I mean the tools that we're going to talk about, tools that make all of this stuff easier. Tools, specifically I'll be talking today about AI tools. They don't replace relationships. They support that connection flow. They're going to make it easier for you to do everything that I've just been talking about. So I focus on using ChatGPT or basically any AI tool and Canva. So I use the AI tool, whether it is a agentic tool or a large language model, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whichever one you're using. Basically, we're going to take an AI that's going to help us craft our messaging, help us think and word it. And then I use Canva because it is so user-friendly. I can easily walk my clients through how to use it so that if you're making posts or videos, that visibility and recognition need to look polished and professional. Canva makes it easy to do that. No tech background required. So AI's role, I see it, is it's helping you to brainstorm outreach ideas. To me, that's phenomenal because I might think, oh, I could do XYZ. But if I start that conversation with an AI, it might come up with 3 other things I hadn't even thought of. It can help me rephrase my ramblings so that it sounds like my voice. And when I say sounds like my voice, my brand voice, what my brand persona sounds like. But for me, for my brand, it's conversational and it's friendly. It's instructional, but it is like we're having a cup of coffee. Your voice could be like that. It could be more professional. It could be more, you're buttoned up making your best presentation. Only you know what your brand voice, your brand persona is, but you can teach an AI what that is, and I highly recommend that. AI can help you reduce that blank page problem. And what is that? I know for me, if I'm staring at a blank page, that's daunting. I might have some, unfinished ideas in my head. AI can help me make those concise and understandable. And for these days on social, it can make them shorter, which is great. Okay, so I also think that it can make you sound more conversational. AI is not a message sender. AI, it can have your voice, and that's what I want it to have. I always want it to sound like you. It's not a copy and paste solution, and it's not a relationship builder by itself, right? You are the human. You are driving this AI collaboration. I never take anything that AI gives you without being human on top of it, I guess is the best way to say it. Read everything it says. It absolutely makes mistakes. And make sure I read it out loud. And if it doesn't sound like something I would say, I make it rewrite it, or I can, edit and rewrite. But there are times when it's perfect, sounds like you, it's great, but there are times when it does make mistakes. All right, so how to use AI the right way? I use it to start the thought process. Like I said, this is the brainstorm. I use it to help shape the message and improve the clarity and save time. You personalize it before sending. Remember, our goal today is to come up with content ways that don't sound salesy, right? So if we're writing it by ourselves, we might not think about all the different ways. So I use AI to help me broaden my brainstorm. All right, so here's an example for the outreach prompt, right? So help me write a friendly, non-salesy message to reconnect with someone after an event. Keep it conversational and curious. So that is a pretty good prompt, but you want to make sure that you're not sending salesy examples. So a bad example would be, hi, name, great meeting you at the event. I'd love to grab 15 minutes to show you how our solution can help you increase revenue, streamline operations, and save time. Are you available? That's heavy pitch, right? Bad example two. Just following up to see if you had a chance to review my company. We help businesses like yours achieve measurable results. I get those after an event all the time. No, that's just a sales pitch. They jump right into selling. So I don't think they're doing a good job. They talk about us, not them, right? They ask for time, and time is valuable before they have even earned your interest, and they feel copy and pasted. So here's an outreach prompt that maybe sounds a little bit better. Hi, first name or whatever. It was great meeting you at the event. So you're setting up that context, why you're reaching out. I enjoyed our quick chat about a specific topic. You're being specific. Curious how things have been going on your end since then. There's no sales there. You're asking for a connection. Hi, first name. I've been thinking about our conversation. I love this one at whatever the event was, especially what you shared about. You're telling them, you remember what they talked about. It made me curious how you're approaching that now. Again, you're not selling, you're inviting a conversation. What about, hi, first name. I really liked what you shared at our event about whatever their challenge or idea was. I came across something related. I thought you might find it interesting. That's even better. You're remembering what they talked about, and you came across something that could be relevant to them. You're giving something. You are not asking for something. Why it works. It removes the pressure. It improves the tone, and it encourages a response, and it feels human. It doesn't feel copy pasted. So Canva's role can make your content creation when you need visuals and or videos a lot easier. It can reinforce your brand because I'm going to want you to make everything you create visually represent your brand. You can share ideas visually, and you can stay consistent. Staying consistent both in terms of what it looks like, your brand, and if it's easier for you to create that content, you'll be more consistent in your posting schedule. All right. So visual outreach explained. It's not fancy designs and it's not marketing campaigns. It's simple visuals, one idea at a time. So marketing campaigns, absolutely important. But right now we're just talking about getting people to notice you, right? One idea at a time is key. If you try to put everything into, one visual, people get overwhelmed. You want to make sure that it's clear and readable. And plus, if you have more than one thing to talk about, that's just more posts that you can make. And a recognizable style. And that, I mean, your branded look. All right. So Canva fits in naturally for LinkedIn posts, event takeaways, follow-up emails, even helpful reminders. So some simple visual examples. So one idea you can show with visuals, plural. It can be a takeaway, it can be a reminder, it can be a helpful tip. The purpose is to get people on social to stop the scroll, to actually read or look at what you're posting, to clarify a message and reinforce your name. It's that brand awareness. Carousel post templates in Canva. Carousel posts are getting a lot of attention these days. You could easily try that. I see again, someone is asking about a recording. Yes, you'll get a recording and a copy of the slides of the session. And those come directly from SCORE and usually within a day or two. Okay, so why one touch isn't enough? People don't respond for a lot of reasons, but maybe the timing wasn't just right, or maybe they were busy, or they thought, oh yeah, I'll get right back to them. That's a great, company I want to, and then they forget. And maybe they just weren't ready. That's totally normal. That's why you have to be consistent. And again, they're probably going to see you on social first. So repurposing solves a lot of that problem. Repurposing your stuff, it helps you stay visual without pressure. It reinforces your ideas naturally, and it builds that familiarity, and it can avoid, I love this part, it can avoid those awkward follow-ups because you're repurposing a particular message. Now, when I say repurposing, it's not just reposting. Say you do a wonderful blog post and you send out a newsletter about it. You could easily take elements of that for multiple individual posts, right? Of course, you're I'm like, okay, repurposing, reposting. Of course, you're going to repost that across all your social, but then you're also going to repurpose that written content maybe into a video, right? There's so many ways that you start with a piece of longer form content that you can get so much mileage out of it. All right. Repurposing made simple. One idea. So say you start with a short post, or it can be a long blog post. And that can be a simple visual, right? You've got your written content, you're going to put it with a visual, something eye-catching. Maybe then it's a follow-up message. Maybe it's in a different type of packaging. Maybe a post can become a video. Maybe it's a future reminder of that original content. Same idea, just different moments that people are going to see it. And again, this is different than reposting. It's not the same look, it's the same content that you are repurposing. Okay, why does that feel better? There's no chasing. There's no just checking in. How many emails do you get that say, oh, just checking in? Did you get my last email? I was like, I don't even know this person. I absolutely delete, report as spam. So you don't want people to do that to your messaging. There's no urgency tactics, right? It's just a helpful presence. So from outreach, which is the old way, to relationships. Over time, people are going to think, hey, I recognize them and they show up consistently and they're helpful. That's trust. So common mistakes to avoid. Automating too early. So what I mean by automating, a lot of us have a sales funnel, and at certain points in that funnel, it's going to trigger some automations that automatically, if they do this, they get that. They do this, they get that. Automating too early, they're going to totally realize, I'm in a sales funnel. I just thought we were starting a conversation among people who met somewhere. So keep that in mind. And then over posting without purpose. And what do I mean by that? It'd be great if you could post 3 times a week. It'd be great if you could post 5 times a week. It's great if you can post once a week. So over posting just because you want to hit some metric of how many posts per week, your stuff isn't really going to feel thought out and having a purpose to it. Whatever you can commit to posting on, I applaud you. Be consistent. Algorithms love consistency, and they will help people find your stuff if rather than post like once and then a couple weeks later post again. The algorithms don't really favor that. So over posting and just giving random stuff, that's not really helpful either. The algorithms are pretty smart these days. Nobody knows exactly how it works, but it does seem to know when content is valuable and that people are responding to it. What about sounding polished but distant? These days, it's really about relationships, and it's about just what I said, trust. So sounding too polished can make you feel like they can't approach you and that you are not building a relationship. You're just presenting in a very polished manner. And big mistake, selling before you're making that connection. Okay, start small on purpose. You don't need daily posts. You don't need perfect branding. You don't need long messages. You need one idea, one tool, well, maybe 2, because I use AI and Canva, and one habit. And that habit is the consistency that I want you to build. Again, social media, brand awareness. All right, your first steps. 1 weekly post. Maybe you're using 1 Canva template that works for you. Using 1 AI prompt and 1 follow-up message, right? Easy. My big takeaway is that connection replaces cold calls. And the tools that we're going to be jumping in and using right now in a minute support consistency and trust builds over time. So I want you to say goodbye to those salesy outreach. Say hello to genuine engagement that builds your brand and your visibility and your community one conversation at a time. Okay, so now is when I am asking for volunteers. And thank you. I see some people already in chat posting. But just a reminder, if you can post what business you're in, again, it can just be a type of business. You don't have to give me specifics. Who you're trying to connect with, and where do you usually meet or find those people. And I'm going to show you how I would take that information into ChatGPT to help us come up with some non-salesy outreach. Okay. All right, so let's see. Since I made this presentation in Canva, which is great, then I can go back into Canva. Oop, there we go. And then I can pop right over into ChatGPT. All right, I see a lot of questions. Thank you everybody for volunteering. All right, so I'll just try to get to as many as I can. I see a question here. I'm posting every day. Well, you tried to, but used to post daily. Is that not good? One post a week. Posting every day is phenomenal because not all of your fans and followers are going to see your posts. But if you're posting every day, there's a very good chance that more people will see it. But if you can't do that, right? If you can't be consistent with that, maybe try 3 days a week. If you can't even be consistent with that, at least do once a week. The more you post, the algorithms do like that, but that's a lot of work for all of us. So all I'm saying is consistency is probably the main thing. But if you can post consistently multiple times a week, that's great. Okay, let's see here. We see architectural design and planning. All right, so this is how I use this. The example here is in ChatGPT. So let me make this a little bigger for you. So I uploaded my presentation, Beyond Cold Calls, that's what we're doing today, to ChatGPT. And I told it for my webinar today, I'm going to upload the deck and I'm going to be asking questions with attendees. Here's the PDF. And then I said, give any more information that you need from me. It says, nope, you're in good shape. I have the PDF. And then it gave me that specific question that I gave you. So I'm going to copy and paste this right here in chat. And again, this is what I'll take from you in chat. So I see here, architectural design and planning for entertainment projects. Okay, so I'm gonna go, great. Oh, if I could spell. Okay, and I just copied that, architectural design and planning for entertainment projects. Okay, give me 3 ideas. Remember, this is for non-salesy kind of brand awareness actions. Okay, connection first. Remember, that's what we're stressing today, right? Behind the experience, a LinkedIn post. Share a short post about how entertainment spaces are not just designed to look good, they're designed to move people through an experience. I think that's a really good idea. Before a guest ever notices the architecture, they feel the flow. In entertainment design, planning has to support movement, energy, anticipation, and crowd comfort. This shows expertise without pitching. Remember, that's the goal. Without pitching, but you're still showcasing what you do. What about a simple Canva visual? And I love that it's giving you suggestions on visuals that you can make in Canva, because it knows this is my presentation. I'm asking for non-salesy ideas from an AI and to utilize Canva for the visuals. Create a clean carousel, because carousel posts are getting a lot of engagement these days, or a one-page visual with 4 planning elements: flow, sight lines, crowd comfort, backstage support access. The caption idea. Great entertainment spaces are designed for both guest experience and the operations behind the scenes. This is helpful, visual, easy to repurpose into a follow-up email or a LinkedIn message later. So I would absolutely take that idea, repurpose into an email. So I'm going to go for number 3, give me a short email follow-up. So let's see what it says. Remember, I'm asking chat for help, but you've got to read it, got to make sure it represents your brand. Email follow-up, a quick thought on entertainment space planning. Hi, first name. Always use that. If you have the first name in your email list, use that. Very better chance that people will respond because it's personalized. It was great connecting with you at event or meeting. Our conversation made me think about how much goes into creating entertainment spaces with that work well for both guests and operations. I put together a short visual on a few planning elements that can make a big difference, including flow, sight lines, crowd comfort, backstage support access. Thought you might find it useful. So you're giving them something. Now, for me, if you've only met them and this is your first email, that still might be a little salesy. So just exactly what I said, look at it, make sure it works. So I'm going to tell it that. That still sounds a little salesy. If I could spell, it would be great. Give me another. Hi, I enjoyed meeting you at the event. Your comments about block stuck with me. I came across a simple way to think about entertainment spaces. I thought connected to our conversation, flow, sightlines, no big picture, just thought it was a useful lens. It's still salesy. Nope. Just encourage, still sounds salesy. Think harder. So I'm telling AI, I'm still not happy with it. So it's thinking harder now. You're right. The phrase I put together, thought of you, might find it useful, still feels like a soft pitch. Yes. It was nice meeting you today. I liked what you said about the topic. It reminded me how much a great entertainment space felt before it got noticed, how people enter, move, blah, blah. It was a fun conversation. Glad we had a chance to connect. Ding, ding, ding. Way better. But I had to prompt it 3 times to get the response I wanted. And that's exactly what I want you to do. Not take something out of the box. It even gives me a shorter option. Nice meeting you today. Enjoyed our conversation. Entertainment spaces is such an interesting mix of design. Glad we had a chance to connect. Perfect. You could even, instead of an email, you could even put that in a message in LinkedIn. Very happy with that. But that's how I use an AI. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to put great. Now here is another attendee. No, it did not take what I copied. All right, so let's see what it says now for e-commerce business customers on Etsy and Amazon. 3 connection first ideas. Remember, that's our goal today. Start making those connections first, especially if customers are finding them Etsy and Amazon. How to choose a helpful post. Instead of pushing a product, create posts that help people decide what to buy. Example angle. Not sure which style is right for you? Here's 3 things to look for before you order. This works well because Etsy and Amazon shoppers are often comparing options. Helpful guidance builds trust before they click. A product story or a use case visual. Use Canva to create simple visuals that show the product in context. Example, perfect for whatever, great gift for. Follow-up messages that does not feel pushy. After someone buys, send them a short human message that builds a relationship and encourages future connection. Hi, thank you so much for your order. I always appreciate when someone chooses a small shop, especially when there's so many options out there. It brings a little joy, usefulness, or that's exactly what I needed moment when it arrives. Friendly, starting a conversation, not salesy. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Okay, we have health insurance sales. Okay, great. Now one for, boy, it is just not taking my copy paste. Let's see what it says. Connection first, even for health insurance. So this is a good example. So a lot of people might just think, oh yeah, it's just sales pitches. Maybe there's a better way. Insurance Team of the Week post. Make health insurance feel less confusing by explaining one simple term at a time. For example, topics could be deductible, copay, out of pocket. Post angle, health insurance has its own language and most people are expected to understand it without anybody slowing down to explain it to them. This week's term, out of pocket maximum. This positions you as helpful, not pushy. A life change reminder post. Create content around moments when people feel they might need to renew their coverage. For example, new job, recently self-employed, turning 26, getting married, moving. These life changes can affect your health insurance options. So every sample that we just showed are wildly different, but I'm just showing you this technique can work no matter what your business is. All right, let's see. Let's see if I have a couple questions. So I have an attendee saying that they don't know where to network, usually on live workshops. What about happy hours? Afraid to go out, to a lot of them not knowing. So let's ask ChatGPT. So let's put for networking for any business. What are your recommendations to build connection? I am a big fan of networking, so I think this question is really important because we're talking about building relationships on social, absolutely, but I never ignore the importance of those personal relationships. I was thinking about that the other day. A lot of my best clients are absolutely from referrals or people who I've met. Okay, it's thinking. Networking, I'd keep it very simple. The goal is not to work the room. Correct. A lot of times, I feel like if you go to a chamber event and you don't know anybody, you're just like, oh, who am I going to talk to? Yeah, it can be a little awkward. But I love that it's giving some recommendations that can work for any business. Ask better questions instead of, hey, what do you do? And isn't that how most people start? What kind of clients are you hoping to meet? Or what's something that you're working on this year? You're asking them to give you some information about them personally. You're not like selling you. Again, this all comes back down to not being that big salesy pitch. Listen for one specific detail that they are telling you. Follow up only feels natural if you feel you've got something to refer back to. This is so important. Listen for a project or a challenge or a goal or client type. Some personal detail, if you're going to reach out to them, remembering something from your conversation, not that copy and paste email. Oh, I met you at this event. This is what's going to separate you and make it be relationship building. Okay, let's see. I know we saw a few more questions here. Someone is saying they use a different AI, Gemini. Yeah, there's so many of them out there. They all kind of work the same. Whatever one you're using, have it get to know you, your business, or you can explain specifically, like I gave it the PDF of this presentation, so it knew how to respond to those answers. Okay, let's see if we have any more. Okay, here's healthcare staffing industry. Okay, so, okay, another attendee. And I hope you get the idea that, we have wildly different industries that I'm using as samples, that it can really work no matter what your industry or business is. But I'm giving you the tools of how I use it for my business and for my clients. Okay, Connection first ideas for healthcare staffing industry, especially when trying to connect with healthcare systems, hospitals, prisons, skilled nursing facilities, other care environments. Staffing pressure point, a LinkedIn post. Create helpful posts around the real challenges organizations face without sounding like we have nurses available. Example, angle. Healthcare staffing is not just about finding a shift, it's about protecting a continuity of care, reducing burnout, making sure the right people are in the right environment. Possible topics: 3 signs your staffing model is becoming reactive, what continuity of care means in temporary staffing, why healthcare staffing needs to consider culture, compliance, and consistency. This positions you as a thoughtful partner, not just a vendor. So important to be seen as that thoughtful partner or thought leader in whatever your industry is. LinkedIn, if you're B2B, is absolutely a phenomenal way to do that. Whatever you're selling, whether it's a product or a service, these steps, this way to brainstorm ideas, I use this every day. Hold on, I see one more message here. Okay, fundraising consultant to nonprofits. Let's try that. Yeah, every time I try to copy and paste, it doesn't take it. Let's try this again here. Connection first ideas for fundraising consultant who works with nonprofits. A fundraising is relationship building post. Share a helpful reminder that fundraising is not just asking for money. Example, the angle could be strong fundraising usually starts long before the ask. It starts with clarity and trust and communication and helping donors understand why the work matters now. This positions the consultant as a strategic guide. Remember, I said industry expert, right? Somebody that has valuable information that you are willing to share that goes across all industries. Thoughtful touch point for nonprofit leaders. Follow nonprofit executive directors. This goes for any of you. Follow people in your industry. Follow leaders in your industry. Developmental directors, board members, foundations, and community organizations. Comment when they post about impact, events, campaigns, volunteers, or milestones. That's that connection because you're commenting on their post. Example comment. Remember, it's not just like, oh, good post. This is such a strong reminder that people give when they can clearly see the human impact behind the work. Congratulations on sharing the story so clearly. That's great. You're commenting on the specific post. You're saying why it's a good post. You're not selling anything. That kind of comment can feel supportive and informed, not salesy. So simple Canva visual. Before you ask for the gift, create a clean visual or carousel with 4 steps. Clarify the need, tell the story, show the impact, invite participation. A caption idea could be fundraising works best when donors understand the story, the need, the difference their support can make. And here's a very short follow-up message it's giving us. Nice meeting you today. Hi, it was nice to meet you today. I enjoyed hearing about your work with whatever the organization or cause was. Nonprofit fundraising is such a meaningful work because it connects people who care with missions that need momentum. Glad we had a chance to connect. Boom, not salesy. Nice. Okay, let's see. Okay. Our one on the architectural design was typically theme park. So I'll show you how I would kind of focus the content it's giving us. So I'm going to put for the one about architectural design. It is typically theme parks. Can you rework that? It's thinking. Design the guest journey post. A theme park design is not just about attractions, it's about the full journey. Example angle. Before a guest reaches the ride, they have already experienced the story. Arrival, pathways, sightlines, shade, gathering areas, and transition all shape how the day feels. This shows your expertise in planning, not just design. Thoughtful touch point after an event or conversation. Use theme park observations as a natural connection point. Developers, operators, entertainment company, vendors, and destination planners. Example comment or follow-up idea. And again, having ChatGPT help you form comments with this lens is a great idea. Use theme park, I always find it interesting how much of theme park planning happens in the spaces between attractions. The flow, pause, visual cues, comfort zone, keeps the experience moving. It sounds thoughtful instead of salesy. Canva idea could be what makes a theme park space work. Again, simple carousel post. If you haven't done a carousel post, I encourage you to take a look at them. They, like I said, they're getting a lot of engagement and they're pretty easy to do. So let me just show you quickly in Canva where the carousel posts are and how they work. All right, so like I said, made the presentation in Canva. So I can go right to home and I'm going to say I want a carousel post. So you type in carousel posts and it gives you all of these different samples and you can look at templates for them. So I'm going to say carousel post. I like the idea of a LinkedIn carousel post. LinkedIn carousel. All right, so it's giving you to start the blank sheet, the correct sizing, correct proportions for carousel for LinkedIn, because that's the information we gave to Canva. And then if you look on the left under templates, all of these are templates for a carousel post. So if we wanted to, you just pick one that you like, you can totally customize it so easily. When I'm looking at a template for a post I want to make, I go for something that speaks to me visually because I know I can customize everything, colors, text, whatever. Okay, so let's look at this one. All right, so you click on any of them and a carousel post is multi-pages. So if I liked this one, it comes up with 6 pages. That's great. I'm going to keep looking here. I want something that, let's see. Let's look at digital marketing strategy. Okay. Each one of those is a page in the carousel post. So if you wanted all of them, you just click apply all 7 pages. So you can see each one of those is a page to your post. So if we wanted to make a carousel post on, say, this webinar that we made, I would go to ChatGPT, give me content for a carousel post, a LinkedIn. About this webinar. Keep the information short. I'm going to put 6 pages. So let's see what it comes up with. These are the exact steps I use, how to use an AI, whichever one it is you're using, into Canva. All right, page 1, beyond cold calls, modern ways to connect without feeling salesy. I just copy that and I'm going to go right into Canva and just swap this out. Okay, we called it Beyond Cold Calls, Modern Ways to Connect Without Feeling Salesy. So I would put this as a subtitle right there. Pretty easy. What would you put here? your logo. In Canva, you can easily have your logo lined up right here in Canva. I have a brand kit set up for SCORE. Perfect. But that's in blue. Do I have it as white in my brand kit? Well, if you've uploaded it, you do. And look, yes, we do. So I'd get rid of that one and pull that there, resize it. And I'm using the template as just a guideline, right? Remember I said we can totally customize it. Now, the arrow is nice because it leads to the next page. Now, I would change the colors to SCORE branded color. You would change it to your branded colors. They have a nice dark blue. That works perfect. Now, this particular template has the logo at each of the pages. I think that's a great idea. So I would click that and swap that out for the SCORE logo, put it about, and I'm going to show you a good trick here. Put it where you want it. And then I'm going to copy that. I'm going to delete their stand-in logo. And if I paste it onto the next page, it's in exactly the same spot, which is what we want. So that way, again, your consistency, even in your design work, looks great. Oops, I put it in the wrong page. You have to click on the page and then put it down there. Perfect. And now it's in the same spot. All right. Any particular questions? We've got 4 more minutes, 6 more minutes left. Anything that you want to see either in ChatGPT or in Canva, or how to put them together. And chat is open. Let me see. Yes, perfect. Anything that you would like to see. I'll show you a couple more things in Canva while we are working here. So you saw how I changed the color so it matches your brand colors. I want to show you how you can change images. So we've got this one, let's see, for chat, our second page. The old playbook feels harder now. And I'm just taking that for, just going to customize it a little bit. And then for the smaller text, I'm just going to take the second part of that section that chat gave me. And again, this is how you customize stuff. You can make it feel so you can read them better. So step 1, we don't need that, but we do need an image. So a playbook image, what would work for that? You can easily go over in Canva to elements and type in the word playbook and see what comes up. We're going to look for photos. Oh, that's nice. I like that. You get playbook right away because it has those drawings like a football playbook. So how you would do it to test them, I like to just drag a couple of them in there. Oh, that looks pretty good. Or what about, let's see, this one looks pretty good too. Oh, I like that, the way it's blue and we carry over the blue from the template. Just start playing around. But if you follow where the template itself is set, you're not going to go too wrong. They've got very professional people designing these, but you can see how I easily customized it to reflect, SCORE's branding. It didn't start out that way, but now it looks pretty great. Someone is saying, I do use the paid Canva model. There is a free model. If you haven't used Canva before, I always recommend start with the free one, play around a little bit, see if you think it's worth the investment. I'm not exactly sure what it's at. Typically, I think in the past it's been about $120 a year. I don't know what they are right now, but for me and for my clients, it has been absolutely a wonderful return on investment. Even the free version, if you want to use elements, you can buy them one at a time, but that quickly adds up. But I always recommend try it in the free version first to see whether it's worthwhile and you can figure out where all the pieces are. All right. Let's see. So a couple other things that I wanted to show you in Canva. So for page 3, again, copy the content from ChatGPT. Now, I copied that in, and remember, it's too small, but I want the text to be the same as this page. So all I have to do is click on this text, and I can see that it's Questrial 32.6. If I click on this, it's Questrial 20. I'm just going to highlight it. Oop, come on. And go to the 32.6 so that it is the same. I wanted 32.6. There we go. So it's the same font size. So again, that's making your pages consistent. You wouldn't want to have one size text on one page and then a lot smaller on the other. And then I was going to take the top of this. The new way starts with visibility. Done. How easy is that? Pretty crazy. Okay, so same thing, visibility. What would we make for an image for visibility? Well, you could start with typing in visibility and see what it comes up with. Ooh, I like the idea of the little magnifying glass. Look how nice that looks. And because we're dragging it right into the template, it's putting that filter over the top so everything looks consistent. How easy is that? And again, we started with the non-salesy content from ChatGPT, take it into Canva. Now we can post it. All right. Just a minute left. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you have not gotten a SCORE mentor, a free SCORE mentor, I highly recommend it. I had a mentor from SCORE when I started my business. There were so many questions that I didn't even know to ask. And to be able to call or text or email a live person in this day of chatbots, oh, that is an amazing resource. Thank you, SCORE, for all of your help with so many things, so many resources you offer to all of us as small businesses. And I certainly hope to see you at another webinar very, very soon.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.